This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music.
Yes, indeed. Welcome along, Scotland, to the Indie Live radio station, the one that treats Scotland like a proper country. Well, what kind of weather was that yesterday? That came out of the blue. That was taps off weather. I got sunburnt. I can't believe that. I was getting ready for October. The weather was that bad. The rain, the gardens, and a mess, and da-da-da-da-da-da. Never mind. We're going to brighten things up today. Got Steve Baird on the show today. He's going to be sitting and just waiting until we get to an interview with Jason Baird of the Indie Live Registry, or it's the National Yes Registry. Sorry, I'm getting carried away myself. And we'll be doing all that after a bit of music from Little Mix. We're getting that sorted, speaking to Jason pretty soon.
Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio.
Change of plan. This is Nick Lowe, Cruel Be Kind.
This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio.
Yep, that's Nick Lowe, Cruel to Be Kind. We're just going to be phoning Jason Baird of the National Yes Registry after this, trying to get him in touch, see if he picks up.
Hello?
Hello, Jason. This is Norrie Hunter from Indie Live Radio. Welcome aboard.
Hiya, Norrie. How you doing?
We're doing no bad in Glasgow. It's very, very warm here. Now, you've got some exciting news this week coming up, Jason.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's really just that talking about we're having a large training event set up.
Indeed.
For training all the groups. I mean, every group, this is an open invite right now to every group out there, whether they're on the Indie app, registered on the Indie app or not.
Yes.
It's an open invite to contact us and come along to the training and see. Well, first of all, we've got places for 160 people, plus 100. It's a weekend, so 100 rooms. So really, I mean, it's a great opportunity. Even without the training, it's a great opportunity to
just to meet people.
Meet up with exactly, because it's the network, the grassroots groups, fellow yesers.
Absolutely.
But really, so I mean, and the thing is that it's over the 2 weeks. It's over the 2 days. Because the first day we plan to train people on the functions of the app, on the functions that actually kind of give a strategic overview also of the platform itself.
Right, yeah.
So there's two elements to we've got the Indie app, and then we have got the editor's portal, which is like the admin side of it.
Oh, right, yes, indeed.
And that's what we call the platform. So that's part of what the training is, to show people the overall structure of the app, and to show them how to operate it.
Brilliant.
Because it's actually it's the functions that it's using the shared functions that allows the groups to come together as a community.
Yes,
and once the groups come together as a community, they can decide on what they think is joint, should be work together, how to organise, what to share, all of that kind of stuff.
And what not to share, what not to do, and what the problems are. And I just want to know, first of all, Jason, how many have taken up? You said you had 160 rooms, and or 160 100 rooms
and 160 plus. So we can expand it if necessary. But I mean, I think 160 is plenty, really, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and what's uptake been so far?
So far, we've got about 50. So that are fully booked. That are fully booked up and paid. But we have, I think I've got another, about 20 that I know of that are, I think they're waiting for payday, basically. I mean? Everybody's in the same boat.
Okay.
So that's where we are just now. I mean, at this stage of the game, I mean, the actual event is on the 21st and the 22nd of September.
I've got that,
so it's still quite a wee while away yet, but
plenty of time.
The problem that we have is that we have to actually pay for the venue on the first. We have to have set numbers,
right,
and
to guarantee
pay for the venue. Now that could be anything from £9,000 to £12,000 because it's a hotel venue,
Yeah.
So really, what we're trying to do is encourage everybody to, book it. Go onto our website. There's a booking form on our website.
Yeah, I'm on it right now. Yep. Do I scroll down to the bottom? Where did I get that?
Scroll to the bottom.
Scroll to the bottom.
And then if you go onto our website at the top bar.
Top bar.
Of the website. Let's see. I'll get mine up.
I'll tell you what it's got. It's got book training, sign-ups, group sign-up.
That's it.
The group sign-up.
Book training.
Group training.
So just like book training.
Got it.
You just go down there and you give us all your details. What kind of accommodation you need. What group you're in. Who you would like to share a room with, or whether you would, you want a separate room. All of that kind of stuff.
All that kind of stuff.
Nuts and bolts of it,
And what kind of cost would people have to pay for a room, etc.? How much are people having to outlay?
Well, again, that's why we're crowdfunding. To be honest, to pay for this, because we are subsidising everybody quite heavily. What we've asked for is if it's £25 deposit for the weekend.
Yeah.
So for that you get a room, then breakfast, dinner, lunch, your teas and coffees, the training, everything.
That's no bad deal, actually.
From Saturday to Sunday, yeah.
Sunday.
That's £25, which we are calling it the deposit, because it's basically, we need to be sure that we're booking this thing and we're into it for a lot of money. So we need to be sure that if somebody says they're going to come, that they actually come.
Yeah, that's right.
So we'll set this as low as we can, but I must say to you, we just want we're setting this up so that people come, and so if you can't afford that £25, just contact us. We have got a ticket, but we did what we did with the gathering as well. We set up a ticket bank for people who have can't afford that.
Yes.
So, contact us direct, and we can sort something out with that. So we can give you,
there you go, and that you can get contact details on the actual website.
On the website,
National Yes
Registry,
Registry,
the website, or National Yes Registry @gmail.com. That'll come to me.
All right.
The thing is that we want to get as many people there as possible.
Of course.
And we want to be able to pay for it. So that's really what we're after.
Right. Okay, Jason, tell us about this crowdfunder. How far have you got, and how far do you need to go?
Well, at the moment we are at 20. I think we're at 22%.
22
fundraising, and we need to. Again, what we're saying is we need to hit that target by the 1st of September, because that's when we have to go to the venue and sign the contract.
Wow.
And after we sign that contract, we are actually we will have to pay, no matter who comes or who doesn't come, we'll have to pay 75% of the entire cost of 160.
Yeah, it's a big outlay. It's a big outlay.
It's a massive outlay, and it's something that we can't really, risk.
No,
we just can't.
No, absolutely.
So that's why it's the big sort of push.
Indeed.
To get this thing done. But to be honest with you, everybody gets paid next week.
Aye.
Our crowdfunders always come in at the last minute,
Don't they all?
And fingers crossed.
Aye, fingers crossed.
It's hard for the nerves.
It sure is. We know that here at Indie Live Radio. Blimey, do we know that?
Of course. But another reason that we are having, it's kind of fortuitous in a way, even though it's stressful, and that if we do raise the money and sign the contract on the 1st of September, it gives us 20 days to actually get everybody who is booked up, because the thing is that this isn't like a march, and it's not even like the gathering.
Yeah.
It's full training.
Yes,
so
indeed.
For
Vital.
full training, we need to get training packs out to people. We have to partner. We do it. It's all interactive and live. It's practical training on the app.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we need is to give people partners in order to communicate with each other through the app and to do all the functions on the app. Because the app is like, it's a communications tool.
Well, it's a gateway to...
Sorry. Can you imagine trying to train somebody on the telephone if there was nobody on the other side of the phone?
Well, that's true.
You know, it's really quite difficult.
Uh-huh. And with the app, you can just open the app and get the world at your fingertips almost.
The thing about it is, and this is the other reason we need the training, is the app's capabilities. The things that it can do just now are amazing, but it is just a platform. So part of what the training is, it's not, we do the training on the first day, and on the second day, it's all about using that training to set up support structures on the app and populate those support structures so that everybody who is at the training is linked up and is doing, has connected with other people who want to help them achieve the goal that they're setting out. Now, that's one of the things that we've got the 20 days for. We want to contact all the people who are coming so that they can bring campaigning ideas that they think should be actual campaigning ideas that they are doing or that they've done. But an example of that is like the wee blue books.
The ginger dog, not the ginger dog, that was Wings Over Scotland.
Yeah, Wings Over Scotland. So just as an example of this is that, Wings Over Scotland has raised a fortune and he's going to, when the Indie Ref happens, he's going to, print 1 million wee blue books. And these are fantastic resources for the
community, yeah.
But 1 million wee blue books is an awful lot of books to get out and to... So the logistics of that are massive. You're talking about warehouses full of books.
Yeah.
And then how do you get them across? And how much cost is in that? Just transferring those books from person to person. How much does that cost? So
exactly.
The idea. So it's a really good example because everybody knows and everybody's experienced it and everybody wants this to work. So our proposal for that is using the app. We at the training, what we do is say we've got 150 people. Let's be optimistic. Say 160 people are there.
They're all there in the room
from groups right across the country. And on the second day, once they've gone through the training, one of the things that we train people on is action rooms, which is a way for, it's just what it says in the tin. An action room is a forum in which people have an idea. They put an idea in their local forum or in the national forum that they think is a good idea. If they get support in that local forum for that idea, then rather than stay in the forum, which is a general forum discussion forum, you can't really take an idea forward in detail about how to make a campaign work. It's boring for all the people that don't want to be involved in it. So all the people who are interested in taking that idea forward join the action room for that idea.
Right.
And inside that action room, then they've got these specific people they are tasked with making this thing work.
Wow.
So the idea with this is on the second day of the training. Everybody knows how this stuff works. I won't go into it just now, but let's just assume we all know how it works. What we will do is we will then have, one of the people tasked with the wee blue book is iMail. So we'll have Lindsay from iMail stand up and do a wee 2-minute, explanation of what's required, and then we'll have opened up a wee blue book action room, and every person in the room of the 160 that is interested in helping develop a logistical network across all the groups, across all of Scotland, can open the app, click on the action room, and apply to join it. And that will instantly give Lindsay a big list of all the people in all the groups.
Exactly. That's the thing.
Do this thing.
That's it.
Puts them in a room together, and then in that room, they can decide, right, who's going to do this, who's going to do that, who's got a double garage, where is the double garage, all of that stuff, all of that logistical stuff that nobody but them is interested in, but it's absolutely essential to getting the thing done.
Now, Jason, who have you been in touch with the Yes groups up and down the country, or is it SNP people, Green people? Who have you actually targeted for this?
We've contacted all of the groups that we know of in the country, all the Yes groups, and that's what we're doing. We're contacting all the Yes groups that we have registered, and all the groups. I'm talking to, trying to get it out to everybody, Now, the thing about it is that just to finish what I was saying before, is that if we do that with the Wee Blue Book, if we organise through the interest in the Wee Blue Book of setting up a sort of logistical system for distributing it across the country, then it doesn't just work for the Wee Blue Book, it works for leaflets, it works for groups that need to get one thing from one group to the other when they're sharing a resource, or all of that stuff.
Well, that's true, yeah.
It's the multifunctional nature of what it is that we're trying to do. You create it for one, and it's able to be used for loads of different things.
Aye,
and
it's a conduit for loads of different applications. Exactly,
and the app is really it's a platform for the groups to build their own structures on, so it's a very simple way to do it. I mean, we broke down, we sat down, I mean, I'm from large Yes shop, that's how I got into this whole thing, working in the Yes shop, and so the app is like a completely it's all about practical,
of course it is.
Campaigning.
Yes,
that's what it's there to do. It's all the things that we missed in
2014. Yep.
So the what we did was we sat down and analysed it, and we worked out that really you only need three things to run a grassroots campaign effectively, and that is one, you need a forum, right? Which is, you need a place where if you've got a good idea, or anybody in your group has got a good idea, that they can express it, they can bring it up, they can say, I've had this idea, it might be stupid, what do you think? Right? So you don't know if a good idea is a good idea until
you try it.
You've talked to people about it and folk agree with you that it's a good idea. That you find right. support for it.
Indeed, Jason.
So that's the first thing. It's like peer review. You do it by
that's
peer
right.
review.
Uh-huh.
So that's what the forum is there to do.
Right.
Then once you've got peer review from that forum, everybody that reads it and is interested in it can push it's like a wee handshake icon on the forum post.
Excellent.
You can click it, and that instantly puts you on a list of all the people saying, I want to participate in taking this idea forward. And that is you joining the action room for that idea.
Super.
So it finds a good idea, then it puts people in contact with each other that want to take that good idea forward, because a lot of the time in our experience, the person that has the good idea isn't necessarily the person that wants to take it forward.
Oh, yes, that's
true.
The
type of person that takes ideas forward and has this sort of sand to follow them, to carry them through, isn't necessarily the same creative mind type person that has 10 good ideas every 2 weeks.
Well, Jason, we've got a minute left. We need the details of how we can get in touch with the crowdfunder. Is that the National Yes Registry.scot?
If you go on to nationalyesregistry.scot, there's a great big crowdfund sign on there.
There is indeed.
It and it takes you right through to the crowdfund.
Fantastic. Now,
with the training, go to the training. There's an article on the training, and there's also, you can book up right there and then.
Brilliant. And how about we get you back on Friday to see how things are going in the week?
Oh, that would be fantastic. That would be great. I'd love to talk to you then.
Okay, Jason, we're going to go into Green Day Boulevard, the Broken Dreams. Jason Baird, National Yes Registry. Thank you so much for coming on Indie Live Radio.
Oh, listen, thank you very much. I really, really appreciate it.
That's no problem.
Hope to see everybody in Perth.
Okay, cheers now, Jason. Bye-bye now.
Yes. Bye-bye. Bye.
I walk a lonely road, the
Baird of Broken Dreams. It just gone off in the background. Oh, a bit loud that. All right, Steve, we've got Steve Baird in. Steve's in the other microphone. Just put your cans on, Steve. It's okay, mate.
All right.
We're okay.
Oh, yeah, I can hear you now. That's much better.
That's good. Well, Steve, you've wandered in to give us your uptake on the day's news. Good to have you along, mate.
Thank you very much. And it's nice to be here. It's something else, this.
This wee radio studio we've got here.
Yeah, but I think one of the things about the whole independence movement is the grassroots element of it. Mm-hmm. And this, I think, is a shining example of that. Somebody thinks, oh, there's a gap in the market for a radio station. Oh, we'll set one up. Yeah, it's brilliant.
And that's just exactly what we've done.
Yeah, and why not? Seriously.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. Now, one of the things we were just discussing there with Jason Baird was he's getting people together to learn about a new app. And once they get the app, they can chat with each other. They can take a topic and share it round. And before you know it, social media is like wildfire. Once you get something in Wick, it goes right down to Dumfries like that in an instant. So he's got a good thing going here, isn't he? To get people educated. Yeah,
I think so. And one of the things about a grassroots, God, I can't speak. I'll put my teeth in probably. A grassroots movement is that by nature it's going to be widespread because it's grassroots. Okay. And something that brings all those elements together, like the indie app, has got to be worth its weight in gold.
It is. And do you think we know that? We know that yet? Are we hesitant? Shouldn't we have done this earlier?
It's a good question, because you've got all the groups. There's pensioners for yes, English Scots for yes, people like that. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure, and I don't know this for sure, but I'm not sure they talk to each other.
Yeah.
And the communication between groups, I think, has got to be important.
Absolutely. Good point, well made. I was saying, yesterday I was at the Ish Hub in Straven, because there was a big balloon festival there. It was brilliant.
I missed that.
Yeah, it was amazing. We'll get back to that in a minute.
Yeah, sure.
And inside, Alan manfully opened up the shop. Somebody else was on holiday. He took over, and place was open. The thing about the hubs, because it was a nice day, nobody was coming in. Mm-hmm. But what I always maintain, Steve, even if somebody looks in the window and gets influenced or encouraged by something they see, it might be it might be saying something, Scotland is not too poor, or whatever it is.
Sure.
And they go home with that, and it sits in their head. You don't have to speak to them even.
I think, yeah, I mean, all those things are important, but one of the troubles is, and I think one of the troubles with all the grassroots movements, it tends to be they are preaching to the converted, and I think they've got to look at a way of getting to the undecideds, and they need a strategy to do that.
Well, what I was driving at there was the people that are people who are disenfranchised now with politics. Sometimes some people, in fact, if you're a Conservative, let me put this to you, if you were a Conservative, I know you're not, but if you were, if you were, and you've seen Boris Johnson ripping you Britain with no deal out of Europe, you must be wondering, where is my rightful home?
Yeah, I'm not sure, because I cannot possibly put myself in the head of anybody who would vote Conservative. That's just who I am. They hold their beliefs, and you can't deny them their beliefs, but I cannot put myself in the head of a Conservative voter, quite honestly, and I wouldn't even try.
But if you think about it logically, because I speak to a lot of people, I just do. It's my nature. I want to find out people's what's in their head when they're voting, their political stuff, and that. That's why I'm doing this stuff. More often than not, and I have met Conservatives, and they are just shaking their heads. They are looking to the Liberal Democrats or something. They're not quite ready to go over to independence, but they're looking for another party. Mm-hmm. They look at the Labour Party in Scotland, they go, no, I'm not going there. That's a nightmare. They're actually looking at the Liberal Democrats in Scotland as well and going, nah, not there either. So where do they go?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And, where do people in general who are upset with the way the world is working, and I've got to say, I'm one of them. I am upset with the way the world's working. I mean, I'm 68 years old.
Never. You're not. Kev, he's not 68.
Sorry.
Not a chance.
All right, I'm 21.
He's 21, that's better.
And I was never political in my youth. But I've become political because of the system. the fact that the system seems to be completely and utterly broken, the fact that a Prime Minister of this country can even get legal advice about shutting down Parliament.
I know. Proroguing.
What? And I think, I'm sure there's Conservative voters who say, shutting down Parliament, you can't do that. You know, that's the only voice we've got.
Well, you're right, Steve. But the thing we haven't got either is a constitution that stops people from doing that. One of the only few countries in the world that doesn't have a constitution. And we've had constitutional experts sitting in front of us and saying, look, at the time it was Theresa May was in power, but it doesn't matter. He says she has got ultimate power because she can consider a Section 30 on a whim.
Yes.
She can say no. She can put a backstop in Ireland at a whim. Nobody's to challenge her because there's no constitution. That's how things have to work. On the hoof. And that's why I think he probably will close down Parliament and get away with it.
Well, I think, was it Joanna Cherry and somebody else is doing a legal challenge to that at the moment in the Scottish courts, are they?
Well, the Scottish courts might have something, but will it be held in the Supreme Court down in London, which is where it eventually will end up. What we've got here is, of course, you've got a Conservative Party in power, breathing down the neck, in England especially, we know from the European elections, breathing down the neck is the Brexit Party.
Oh, I think you wash your mouth out with soap and water after having said those words. No, seriously, I know what you mean, though.
But the squeeze on the hard right people in the Conservative Party are looking. Let's get more neo-nationalist than they are. Let's get more immigration wise than they are. Let's get to fend them off. And then you've got. I don't know if you were familiar with one of the polls that says. Would you give up independence? Would that be a price worth paying for Brexit? 68% said yes.
Yes. And quite a few people said that they would be quite happy to see Scotland go their own way if they got Brexit. Fine by us?
One thing, Steve, that they said no, and that was to have Jeremy Corbyn as the Prime Minister.
Yeah, it's been a shame that in days when it's been certainly the worst government I've known in my lifetime, it's also the worst opposition. Yeah. You know, it's an open goal. I know. And they keep missing it completely.
Bang on. Jeremy Corbyn, that's why he's lost. He's not going to get the support he commands to be the interim Prime Minister. You know, this 14 days, vote of no confidence comes in,
sure.
He gets it. So this is why you've got a split. You've got Joe Swinson, another muppet, absolute cretin of a politician, doing student politics in dealing with people's lives here. She's saying, well, no, I'll go and get the Tories that aren't they're disaffected. I'll sweep them up, Ken Clark, and I'll get Harriet Harman, the two elder statesmen of the House. And who else are you going to get? You need to come together to stop Brexit if that's your raison d'etre. You don't want to play party politics, do you? I'm getting angry.
I noticed there was steam coming out your ears there. You need to calm down slightly.
Look who's talking.
No, I shouldn't get so wound up. And what you're saying about party politics is one of the reasons I think I'm disenchanted completely with the political system is because there is no long-term planning. Because it's party politics, they look as far as the next election and their chances of getting elected.
Correct.
And they will do whatever they have to do to get to that point. Whereas, I'm maybe naive, but I think one of the core reasons for the existence of a government is to look after its people.
No, that is the actual...
Is that right?
It's the actual reason when we put them in to defend the country and look after the people.
Yeah, it should be. And how anybody... I was looking at some of the details of Operation Yellowhammer. Nobody, when they voted for Brexit, voted for fuel, medicine and food shortages.
No,
and Operation Yellowhammer said, there could be. And the government is going along with that. Why is a government doing that when it's not looking after its people?
Yeah,
you tell me. And we've been there. It's short-termism.
Short-termism. But the interesting thing about that, Steve, is there's no war. There's no impending war. There's no
that we know about.
Well, there's no environmental disaster. This is a man-made or person-made decision to come out of the European Union and help mend those that can't survive in it. It's what the people voted for.
It's self-inflicted.
Yes, it is. And what Boris Johnson is trying to manoeuvre himself into is he's trying to be the good guy. He's got the tousled hair and he's got the laugh when he talks to Merkel and Angela Merkel, and they're thinking, what a prat. But he thinks he's great. But he goes to Donald Trump, and Donald Trump says, "I've always had faith in this guy. You know, he's a great guy, and his predecessor didn't like it. All the rest of it." And then he's getting a sense of importance. And yet, the whole of Europe is supposed to be sorting this backstop in Ireland with 30 days.
Yes.
He hasn't got an earthly.
No, sadly not.
But what he's trying to do, I'll just finish this. What he's trying to do is have a people against in politics. So the people on his side are the leavers, the 51%. He's trying to take them with him and say, it's the politicians that are stopping your democratic vote.
Yeah, and he's now also, I think, well, the narrative will be that if we don't get a deal, it's all the EU's fault.
That's right. It's anyone's fault but mine.
Sure.
Listen, lots more to come on Indie Live Radio. Oh, we've got a flying start with Steve there, didn't we? Right, who have we got now? Wallace Mayer, Forever Dreaming. It's 11:42, Monday, 26th of August. You're listening to Norrie Hunter on Indie Live Radio. Let's have a listen to Wallace. Wallace gave us a couple of tunes from Australia. He's originally from Campbellton. Let's have a listen.
Live.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio.
Well, here comes a chat, actually. Myself and Steve back with you here on Indie Live Radio. Mike was a bit loud. It was a bit loud. Have to turn that down a bit. There we go. Wallace Mayer, Forever Dreaming. What do you think of that, Steve?
Yeah, it was nice. I don't get exposed to enough new music. I tend not to listen to the radio too much, but I think one of the things about small radio stations is they can do a lot more music, and that was nice. I'll investigate that one further.
Aye, that's Wallace. He sent us some music all the way from Australia. He listens. In fact,
Australia, what's it like?
I know. Wallace, if you're listening, whereabouts in Australia are you? Just to put us clear on that one. Right, Steve, this is, I'm just reading this. This is incredible. We carried on from Boris Johnson, what he might do pro Rogan and all the rest of it. But he's insisted yesterday the UK would not pay the £39 billion divorce bill in full in the event of a no-deal Brexit on October 31st. Idle threat?
I have no idea, seriously, what goes on in that man's head. But what was it people were saying about Scotland and the IndyRef in 2014? If we didn't pay our share of the national debt, that we would get down, credit rating would go way down, nobody would lend us money, etc., etc. Right. And here, without blinking an eye, is Boris Johnson doing exactly the same thing.
Exactly that. I think he's trying to, what you said earlier, he's putting the blame on Europe.
Sure, yeah.
He's now gone over to Donald Trump. Donald Trump says, yeah, we'll do an exciting trade deal. The problem with that, Steve, trade deals take up 7 years to sort out, because you've got to get laws sorted out, you've got tariffs to sort out, you've got to get profits for them, profits for the other side, infrastructure, you've got to have R&D perhaps, you've got to have a workforce, and that doesn't come overnight.
And you get a smashing trade deal with America. What about the rest of the world? You know, are they going to do each country by country, trying to do a trade deal with a country by country when the EU has got so many trade deals already set up? It's nonsense. Well,
we know, we've said it in this show time and time again, it's all about the money. It's all about tax evasion directives coming from the European Commission. Yep. Every member state had to abide by them. Every country did, apart from one.
Name that country.
Indeed. Yeah. And if you think it was about immigration, taking back control, all that rubbish, it's not. It's about Jacob Rees-Mogg holding on to what he's already got. Ill-gotten gains. We know fine that he's earned $45 billion with Somerset Holdings since Brexit began.
That's not loose change, is it?
No, it's not.
And I saw, I don't know whether it's true or not, I saw it because I saw it on Twitter, so I don't know whether it's true or not, that 40% of all MPs are millionaires.
Yeah.
How does that fit them to govern a country properly?
Well, Ian,
because they cannot possibly understand people who are not millionaires, you know.
It's who was it? I don't know who it was, but he said, or she, I can't remember who's got the jurisdiction in this one, but you've got to retire at 75. You have to work on. The average age of a Glaswegian is 73.
Yep.
So you work till you die, effectively.
Yes. Yeah.
And all that money you're paying into the national insurance contributions goes to people who live longer than you down in the southeast of England.
So where's the fairness in that?
None.
And again, it harks back to the lies that were told in 2014. Mm-hmm. Pension lies was, I think, one of the big ones.
Oh, it's huge.
And now they're turning around and saying, oh, well, we'll think about not paying the pension till you're 75. What are those pensioners who are frightened in 2014 thinking about that now?
Well, I know. And you know this, it was people at Alistair Darling, Gordon Brown, somebody who should know better.
Yeah.
Somebody who's been a Chancellor of the Exchequer. Both of them have, actually.
Yeah, but they're... Sorry, I was going to say they're politicians, they lie.
No, they're unions politicians.
Yeah.
That's the difference. Now, other thing. Is there any good news? Well, actually, there's another bit of news. As an Englishman...
oh, yes, that's me.
Well, born in England. You're a Scot now. You're staying in Scotland.
Yeah, I've lived in Scotland 36 years now. So, yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while, but your accent has not changed a bit.
Which I'm quite pleased about, to be honest. It's all right.
We need colour and variety
Absolutely.
in this country. Just give us a bit of your background. Whereabouts are you from, Steve?
Somerset. A wee seaside town called Minehead, famous only for its Butlins holiday camp.
And cider.
Oh yes, I got drunk on cider at the age of 12 and never touched it since.
Well,
that's another story.
I've got a story about cider as well. We're not going there
I don't think so.
No.
So yeah, I was working in a wee seaside hotel, and mine is a holiday resort, and we used to get staff in for the season. Two of whom were girls from Glasgow. The rest, as they say, is history.
There we go now.
Yeah, we're still married, so
excellent.
There must be something good there.
So, Mrs. B, welcome to the show. If you're listening to your husband, he's doing really well today. And so, Mrs. H, my good wife, she'll be listening. I'm going to play the next tune for her. Now you're in Scotland.
I am. I noticed that.
Have you heard of Scary Vor?
Yes.
Well, you're going to hear him again because this is the Jailhouse Jigs. Now they last for a wee bit. They might take us up to the news actually if we're really lucky. I think they will. Scary Vor, Jailhouse Jigs. Let's have a listen. Let's have a listen if we can get them going. Let's see.
Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio.
Back after this.
This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio.
Well, yes, welcome back. Me, Norrie Hunter, on Indie Live Radio, of course, Monday, 26th of August. It's now coming up to just about 11:58, and we're going to be heading to the news shortly. As ever, if you want to get in touch, I'll play Kev again, actually, just to give you the message. Indeed, it is our time, and we're just counting down to the news. We've got another minute to go. Not much happening. Well, actually, outside the skies are turning blue in Glasgow. It's going to be tap-saff again. I can feel the heat coming in. Yesterday was 26 degrees. Where did that come from? Today is down to 21 in Glasgow. Aberdeen's going to get a massive 26 today. Best of the weather is in the northeast, of course. And it's going to be quite cloudy and wet in the next couple of days. I had to die sometime, didn't it? Now, it's 20-odd seconds to the news, so I'm just going to let it run out. I might put a wee jingle on. Here's a one. I'll put this one on. Yes, this one.
This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio.
Well, welcome back to Indie Live Radio with me, Norrie Hunter. We've got Steve Byrne and we've got Kev Gibney. And Kev, are you going to put your microphone on? I'll just...
Okay, man.
There you are, you're on, mate.
I'm on.
It's not very often we get him on. He's got 5 hats on just now. He's trying to produce the show. He's trying to get a live stream up and running. And he's also trying to juggle... what's that? Yes, he's got a camera there.
Yeah, I've got it on. Okay, yeah. I've just got a few messages here. It's on our Independence Live Facebook page.
Go for it, Kev.
Yeah, it's just we've got Anne Smith just saying hello from Ballochmyle. We've got Jane Cooper Stewart. She's watching from Livingston. Al Hunter from the Black Isle.
Oh, that's I know him.
Yeah, you know him, yeah.
What's Al saying?
And we've got Maureen Ferguson just saying hi from Dundee, just lots of hello.
Brilliant.
Messages. So that's in the Independence Live Facebook page. Of course, this is...
Going out in many streams.
This has been streamed out to our YouTube channel, Twitter Periscope, 2 Facebook pages, Independence Live, and we are the 45% at the moment. So... You know, as well as putting it out to the audio out, we live stream the Norrie Hunter Show most times. But yeah, so people watching from all over Scotland at the moment. And I see Dougie Bendel as well. He's, of course, from United Arab Emirates at the moment, staying in the United Arab Emirates. So hello to everyone, and please share and like the live streams when you see them, and get the iOS and Android app for IndieLive.radio.
Indeed, and there's a few coming on the chat box. Kev, bonjour, mes amis, listening from Ogier-les-Bains in southern France. Want to wish Jason and Eddie the best of luck. The Indie app will prove essential. Jilly's saying, good chat there with Dave, reframing the argument a la Bill Mills and one way to engage with the undecided. Somebody says, sound is awful today, giving me a headache. I have no idea who that is. It might be your system at the other end. All good here, isn't it, Kev?
Yeah, it's all looking good.
Probably mic input volume too high. No, it's not. The UK parties are all ultimately working for the same team. They might dress up the same. That was, yep. And on Corbyn changes his mind too often. The only party who have been consistent are the SNP. Not sure who that was. I was once told by a former Labour Home Secretary that the purpose of government is to protect government. The people don't get looking. What do you think of that, Steve?
I think that's probably sadly true.
I know.
Disappointing if it is.
Yeah, I know. Somebody says the sound is still awful. That was at 11:42. Jilly, very distorted sound, Steve. Kev, Norrie, great show, but we need to hear it better. Well, I don't know what's happening there. Kev, we'll put that back to you. Distorted to the point of silence of a sec there. Yep. Be back later, guys. Hope the sound's been sorted. Sound is terrible, guys. Is anyone actually reading this in the studio? There seems to be no change in the sound. We've tried it on our system, and when we put it on, it sounds good. So, could it be somebody's home hub?
Sometimes that happens, but we will check it later on. We've got some stuff to test out later, so hopefully that might solve that issue.
Somebody's complaining that nobody reads this chat. There's only two of us here, and we have our hands full with loads and loads of stuff. We take a chance when we get a break note, then we read the stuff. Okay. I'm not reading the rest of that. It's all pretty negative about our sound, Kev. God, blimey.
Well, we'll try and fix that after the show.
Aye, after the show. Nothing we can do about it now. Gremlins. If anyone wants to donate thousands and thousands of pounds to the Indie Live coffers, we can get new stuff.
I tell you what, I do have an idea though. I mean, we're looking for maybe a techie to get involved if they want to come into the office. Mm-hmm. We've got a pretty complicated setup here, so definitely techies with if they've got
experience of radio, particular
radio, but not necessarily so, but. Really good if it an indie supporting volunteer with techie abilities to get involved that could come down to the studio.
Could we get Linda Graham in?
She's busy with broadcast calls.
I'll get her in.
No. She's too busy.
She's too busy.
Right, we need someone that can be here, maybe, during shows and all that, that's got the time, so probably...
I've done her a wee favour. She can scratch my back.
Well,
aye.
She's busy.
So was I busy.
Talking to her earlier.
Aye. Anyway, me and Steve back. Steve, everyone's saying we're too loud, we're too distorted. We're hearing it fine, aren't we?
Yeah, it sounds fine in my headphones.
Mine too. So what do we do?
But there's a lot of wire between them and us, isn't there?
That's right. There's a lot of wire and a lot of distortion, a lot of losses, a lot of, you name it. We've had worse programmes go out than this, haven't we, Kev, from the...
That's so fine, man.
We used to be in the broom cupboard next door.
Yeah, I heard that. Without room to even swing a cat.
That's right, and sometimes the sound wasn't great. But we got there,
Yeah.
It was more the cables. People tripping over cables. And
right.
It was a bit of a,
it was madness.
Death
I don't know
trap,
how we managed it, Kev. I honestly don't know how we done it. Anyway, so we'll play some music. Let's see. The Little Kicks, Scottish band, Don't Get Mad, Get Even. I hope.
That's a slow start there, Norrie.
Sorry about that, Kev. It was a slow start. But they're here now. Can you hear them?
Yeah, it's okay. I can't hear the music over this side.
The Little Kicks. Don't get mad, get even.
This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio.
Don't get mad, get even. That's the little kicks. Welcome back to the Norrie Hunter Show. Me and Steve Baird from Somerset.
Indeed. Yeah.
Did that, I didn't want to mock you there, but that's Somerset. But everybody kind of does that, don't they?
Sadly, yes. But I'm kind of used to it by now.
Well, whatever. You know, it's good to have you along, Steve. Now, what else happened? The Shetland by-election's on.
I saw that. It's a Lib Dem stronghold, isn't it?
A stronghold. It's
been Lib Dem for...
since 1950s.
Oh, right.
Since Joe Grimmon's days.
That's going back some.
Yeah, and they've held on for a Liberal Democrat all that time. But now, just the latest poll says that the SNP they were 44 points behind in 2016. They are now only 4 points behind in 2019.
But that's an opinion poll.
Yes.
So,
and the thing is, though, with all that, they've hit that area really hard. Nicola Sturgeon's been up.
I saw that.
Everybody's been up. Every SNP person of note has been up there. If they don't take it, it's going to be a bit of a disappointment, isn't it, for the SNP?
I'm not sure. A 44-point deficit is quite a large one to overcome. If they narrow it to 4, I think they can say they got a result.
And even if they don't get the seat?
Yeah. You've got to be realistic, I think.
Aye. Well,
it'd be a disappointment. It'd be nice to get that one, wouldn't it?
Yeah. It would be. I mean, it would just show them up there that it's a bit like Wales. When we had played Cymru on from Wales, they were struggling to beat the Labour Party down there. And the NHS has gone to rack and ruin. Their infrastructure everywhere is bad. The Labour Party have sat in their hands and enjoyed the trappings of power down there.
Now, where does that sound like?
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
And what they've done is, when we spoke to Sean, he's a Radio Cymru, who are a sister station to us, who do a Welsh independence thing. He says, just watch Plaid Cymru come through because they're talking a lot more sense. They've got a new guy, Mark, I think it's Mark Price, Mark somebody, can't mind it. Leanna, she was, Leanne. Wood. She was the leader, nothing changed over. And what a difference in the Parliament.
Really?
They're talking positive. They're Mark Drakeford's the new leader, and he's pretty hopeless. He's got no vision for Wales, and they're wanting a lot more. And it doesn't help them when their top rugby players come out for Plaid. So they're doing really, really well. And they've been looking north to Nicola Sturgeon and seeing what the baby boxes, etc., no bridge tolls, that kind of thing, and saying, well, we want a bit of that.
Yeah, if they can do it. Yeah, sure.
And now there's a 40% of the Welsh people would now want independence.
That's staggering, isn't it, really?
Oh, it is.
I'm not sure how much of that has been really driven by the incompetence of Westminster, though.
Well, actually, that's a good idea. We might chat again to Sean down in Cardiff and try and get a synopsis of what is actually happening down there. Is it the Brexit effect? It could be, but remember, Wales voted to leave. There is a huge English contingent in Wales. They've moved in and they tend to vote Conservative. And if they don't vote Conservative, the Brexit Party hoovers up the votes. So they've got that to fight as well. What do they do? Just get the word out, the positive word out, that even Tories can benefit in an independent Wales.
Well, perhaps they should look at the Scotland model and do it from the grassroots.
Yes.
You know, I'm absolutely amazed at this movement that I've got to say, Indie Live Radio is part of. The incredible stream of consciousness coming out of the grassroots movement is just so wonderful to behold.
It is, and All Under One Banner do marches in Wales as well.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah. And they've got a big one coming up. We'll get our researchers on to get Radio Cymru in to talk to them about what's happening down in Cardiff. So you've got that. You've got Northern Ireland. There's more and more people. Here's the thing, Steve. Here's the thing. When the Good Friday Agreement was signed and all the rest of it, you know what happened? I read this from Leslie Riddoch. You used to get coach trips, free bus travel for over 60s. And they used to take the coach from Belfast all the way to Cork and all the way to Galway, go for cheap holidays and come back. And lo and behold, guess what? They found out that the people in Galway were exactly the same as what they were in Belfast.
Wow!
They weren't carrying guns and they weren't...
hold the front page.
Aye. Now, over the years, that's happened, and people, even Protestants in Northern Ireland, are learning Gaelic over there. We call it Gaelic. Learning the Gaelic language. They want to be part of the Irish thing. They like it. They like to be able to spread their wings to go to Galway and Sligo and all the rest of it. Because they've done it on their buses, and they've got absolutely nothing to fear. But they've been watching the BBC and they've been listening to those around them, the extremists, and taking a route with them. Instead, they should have been going their own way and thinking, well, I'm a human being, they're human beings. We've got a lot more in common that keeps us apart.
I think you saying that could go for the whole world, quite honestly. And it's something that occurs to me from time to time. Life for most people is hard enough. We got loads of stuff to deal with in your personal life. Health issues, family issues, whatever. Life is hard enough. Can we just get on with it, please?
I know, just get on with
and
life. Yep.
The governments, I think, they don't think about the people enough.
No, they don't. We had, who did we have on? We had Professor Richard Murphy on Friday talking about...
He's good, isn't he?
Yeah, GERS.
Yeah.
I think one of the things was notable from that interview was that he said, as soon as you get... if you get academics and accountants looking at GERS figures, they'll rubbish them, tear them up and all the rest of it. See, when you get politicians, you'll get those that like them and those that hate them.
Yep.
Even though they don't make sense of them. I mean, for once, on the SNP side, they're fighting back saying, well, we can get a 2% deficit. Richard Murphy's
Hang
going,
on a minute.
what are you talking about?
Sure.
You don't even need to challenge this. It's just rubbish. Throw it in the bin. Move on.
Mm-hmm.
And the Tories have gone, yes, told ya. You're a basket case. Scotland couldn't do this, couldn't do that. And so you've got two political parties. When you get the political parties out of the way, man alive, nobody takes any bit of notice.
Yeah. I think it's a shame that the independence question has to be framed politically, because it, as far as I'm concerned, it's not a political question. Who should run the country is not a political question. Unfortunately, there's no other way for people to run campaigns for independence. It's got to be run by political parties. Having said that, I would prefer to see a yes campaign led by people.
Yes.
Rather than politicians. But
Absolutely.
it's never going to happen, unfortunately.
No, because we get stuck in Section 30s, Article 50s, we get stuck on these terms, these bills that go in Parliament. All we're wanting is the freedom to...
Can we say for ourselves, please?
Yeah, exactly. But that's what the indie movement is about. It's a grassroots movement. It stalls every weekend. That's where we have our Yes Indie Friday. Mm-hmm. We do stalls from all over the place, Dumfries to Wick.
Yep.
And we get them on and we say, what are you doing this weekend? Good on you. Mm-hmm. Brilliant. One thing that popped up, this is another thing. I've got, because you're from Somerset.
Are you going to hold this against me?
No, not at all, Steve. Not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
Ruth Davidson, right, has said...
Yes, the Ruth Davidson we all know and love.
Now, do you like cricket?
No.
All right.
Sorry, I'm not a cricket fan or a football fan.
Ian Botham played for Somerset in their heyday.
Yes,
in their heyday.
Yes.
And I thought you might have picked up a wee bit on that, but no, obviously not. So I'm barking up the wrong tree. What I'm going to say now then is Ruth Davidson on Twitter says, oh my OMG, can't believe it. What a victory. Mm-hmm. And she's talking about the English team in the Ashes.
Right.
Now, she's supposed to be a Scottish MP with Scottish constituency in Scotland. What did she say about the Scotland rugby victory over France?
I don't know. What did she say about the rugby victory over France? Yeah. Nothing. Seriously, I don't have an issue with Ruth Davidson tweeting about an English victory. That's fine, but let's have some consistency.
Yeah.
If her tweets veer towards sport and sporting victories, then saying "well done the English" is fine. Mm-hmm. If she's not tweeting about sport and sporting victories, saying "oh well done the English" is hypocritical.
Absolutely, and that's what she is. But it just shows you the mindset. In fact, there was a guy I was at Straven Balloon Festival yesterday. Brilliant day out. And there was all sorts of stalls. And there's this one guy, and he had Union flags on every part of his stall all the way around. And and I just thought, I'm gonna ask him. No, better not.
I think you should have done.
Yeah, but he was busy serving. I thought, I'm not going to buy any of that guy's stuff.
Oh, sorry, I thought he was some kind of political stall. He was
well, no, it was.
Right.
Yeah, it was. And I was speaking to somebody outside on another stall, and I says, you know, this all the branding of Union flags on our bread and our chickens and everything else. Mm-hmm. There's a guy actually putting his own Union stamp on stuff as if we didn't have enough of it. Does he not get it?
Oh, well.
And they said, I've not been there, son. I'm not going near his cakes. Yeah. In fact, I'm going there's ice creams down there. It's a melting hot day. People just got the ice creams from somewhere else. Interestingly, not very many people went to the stall.
That's a kind of sign of the times, I think.
I know it is. It's just ordinary people. We were talking about this just a minute ago, Steve. When ordinary people get their dander up in Scotland, as we call it, you won't shift us. You will not shift us. It's like, no, I've had enough of that. We're moving on. That's back in the Second World War stuff, Union flags and D-Day and all that garbage. We're not having it. And why can't we have an English flag on a Milton Mowbray pie or Stilton cheese? Why is it always everywhere have to be UK flags?
Yeah, I think because the Union flag is such a strong identity, it's such a strong brand. But that's for people living abroad.
Yes.
I don't know why it's necessary, particularly in this country.
No.
You know, can you imagine if you're going round a supermarket in France, pick out the Union flag? That's great. No, seriously.
Yeah.
But in this country, it's not necessary. And Scotland needs to protect its own brands.
Here's the thing. See, if you were in France and you picked up something with a Union flag on it, you'd be confused because you might think, oh, wait a minute, is this from a part of the UK that's been fracking and has GM crops, or is it from a quality place like Scotland? You wouldn't know. So better err on the side of caution. Don't buy it. if you put the Scotland flag on it, people immediately know.
Yeah.
Or even the Welsh flag, it's pretty good. Welsh lamb, can he beat it? Well, Scotch lamb can. England, your Stilton cheese. I die for that stuff. I love
lovely,
it.
isn't it?
I love it. It doesn't bother me one iota if it's got an England flag on it. Seriously.
Yeah.
I'd prefer it actually. Because it's just not. It's more identifiable as that country's produce.
Yeah, I think the one of the downsides of the Union flag is it does have now, sadly, negative connotations in Scotland.
National Front.
UDA.
UDA.
Those very nice gentlemen who stand by the side of the road as the AUB march goes past and yell rude things at us. It's that connotation of the Union flag that I think it's unfortunate. Yeah.
And of course, Rangers Football Club use it quite a lot.
Yes, true.
And most of Scottish football, in fact, as an Aberdeen fan, I heard the Aberdeen faithful shout to the Celtic fans, "We hate Rangers more than you." and it's a shame because
I'm not going there.
No.
Seriously.
I'll tell you, because a lot of people who support Rangers are independence people.
Yeah,
but the club itself is steeped in a history from Northern Ireland and the UK. It's got Union flags all over the place, and they had they're the best club in Scotland for treating war, the army and the navy and the forces.
Okay,
trying to establish that Brit identity. I'm sorry, but it's something that you might want to hold on to. But most of us want to get a better house, a job with better wages, food,
it's not difficult, is it?
It's not difficult.
Oh.
Anyway,
I think.
What are we going?
I'm going to relate a little personal experience. Shortly after I came to Scotland, this would be 1983, 84. I'm not a football fan, but one of my friends took me to an Old Firm game. A New Year's Old Firm game.
Oh.
I know. You wince. You did actually wince there. And foolishly, I thought I was going to go and see a game of football.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe it, that most of the energy for all the fans was directed at insulting the opposition fans.
Yeah.
And my normally mild-mannered friend was one of them. I really worried about what was going on. Yeah. And this is my introduction to Scottish football, and I've got to say I've not been back to an Old Firm game since.
Good man. One of the psychology look at this is that a lot of people get so much anger in their life in the house, can't get enough wages and all the rest of it. They go to a football match and they get it out there.
That's probably, yeah.
But they get it out at other people. And I can't remember who it was. It was an audio we had. You've got to look up at the millionaires who are looking at you in the ground fighting with each other. Because when you're doing that, you're taking your eye off the ball.
Yes.
You know, and these people are rubbing their hands thinking these peasants are fighting with each other. Divide and rule.
Yeah.
That's how it works. Right, 12:29, Indie Live Radio, Norrie Hunter Show with Pete Byrne. We're going to have Mark Cohen walking in Memphis.
Nice one.
This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio.
Yeah, that was Mark Cohen walking in Memphis. Back here in the studio, I've got myself and Steve Byrne. And as we were speaking, Steve, a wee graphic came up which goes on when we put music through, and it's this. This is the 21st century. You cannot hold a nation captive against their will. Guess who said that?
It sounds like an SNP politician, but it'll be some kind of Tory.
Mark Francois.
Oh, God.
Sorry. The irony of
yeah,
it. The irony of that.
Yeah, I take it he was referring to the UK and the EU then. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny because they can make these proclamations and sound bites, etc., but they never think of standing it on its head and looking at Scotland's place in the UK.
Exactly. It's just that's all that politic nonsense, isn't it? But
politics nonsense. I quite like that. I think you should call the show that. Politics nonsense.
Yeah, we probably should. The stuff we have to take on and fight back against, usually Tory tweets and Tory messages that are coming out, especially on things like broadband, which is not a reserved power. And the Tories come up and say, the SNP have not rolled out broadband in my constituency of Angus. What's keeping them?
I don't see how they can do that with a straight face. It either indicates mendacity or ignorance, and either of those are not a good quality for an MP.
Indeed. Just got a wee message. I'm just looking over. Pritchard Trench, great show today. Need to get the message out there. Thanks, Pritchard. It's always good to hear from you, my friend. Thanks for the encouragement. We need more of that in the live radio sometimes. Today's been a... Well, we need a good pick-me-up, don't we, Steve?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I might go to the pub after this again. Right. What else is happening? The SNP are trying to get all the leaders in the House of Commons together to block the prorogue, the closure of Parliament. Blackford warns over shutdowning move.
I think I'm kind of divided on that. I think the SNP are maybe focusing too much on stopping Brexit, and sometimes I think, what the hell? Let them get on with it. Let us do something different. Your main focus has got to be independence, and then I think, well, it's a neighbourly thing to do. Stop this horror show.
Here's the thing,
I'm torn between the two thoughts, really.
Well, I've got a couple of suggestions here. Somebody I was speaking to yesterday, a good yes man, said, no, SNP should be really worried about Brexit and what it happens to our neighbours, England, because after independence, if they're still in Europe or with a deal, it'll be easier to trade with England from Scotland. So even when Scotland gets independence, if it's a Brexit, no deal Britain, we'll have real difficulty with the English until they're in out water and stuff like that.
or electricity.
Or electricity,
Yep,
indeed.
yep.
And I think they're trying to pave the way to reach all the decent English human beings, which probably is most of the country.
Undoubtedly.
Yeah, it's just the politicians that are idiots and the millionaires. But they want to get to them, reach them. And after independence, can you imagine trying to deal with a Brexit Britain? We'd have to have borders, wouldn't we?
Absolutely, yeah.
So
yeah.
we're trying to avoid that. That's why we have to get rid of Brexit as well as strive for independence. But another chap I spoke to, Alan down at the Yes Hub in Straven. Hello, Alan, if you're listening, mate. He was saying, I don't mind if we get a Brexit. No deal Brexit.
Because it's good for Scottish independence.
Yeah, it'll hurry things up and people will find out what it's really like because they haven't found out yet because the stores are all full of food and the chemists are full of medicines. So bring it on. And I thought, oh, no. I'd want to be able, after independence, to have a really good neighbour, not one that's Brexit mad and full of Brexiteers. And I'd rather the other side of the English population, rather.
Yeah, it would be nice. But it would be a very strange thing if the SNP saved England from Brexit, wouldn't it?
Aye. Well, we've got more. Julie's got in touch. Let's not give the negativity any more energy or time. Moving on. Sound sorted. Great show.
Excellent.
That's Julie. And Ronnie, at least we know this is a new tactic now, so I will definitely ignore it in the future, not be distracted from the excellent content.
We like that.
We do indeed. That's Ronnie. Good man, Ronnie. And Ronnie says he's like a stop clock. He's right at least twice a day. A bit of a laugh. That's what it's all about, getting a bit of a laugh on Indie Live Radio. Now, Steve, we have this... you might disagree with my suggestions for Walloper of the Week on Indie Live Radio.
Do you give them a gong,
well,
a particular trophy?
No, it's a smelly sand shoe that I've ran in 5 marathons already, and it's absolutely honking, but that's what they deserve. And I'll give them the laces as well.
All right.
So that's what they get. Now,
Walloper of the Week.
Walloper.
Who's your Sorry, you do the accent. I can't.
Walloper.
So who's your nomination?
I don't know. Ruth Davidson.
Always a good candidate, I would feel.
Yeah, but it's just this thing. It really annoys me. Well done. Go, England. It's all that kind of stuff for winning the Ashes. Is she an English person in a Scottish body or something? I don't know what drives people like that. I only know that I'm Scottish, and every time Scotland are playing at football or rugby, I just get behind them. Mm-hmm. And if England are playing football, I probably take the other team, only because the commentators give us such a hard time about.
That's
we're
I've got to say,
1966 and all that kind of stuff.
I do struggle with that one a bit because certainly when I was down living in England, I would support any of the home nations that were playing.
I'm sure you did.
It just went without saying.
Yep.
And I find I was going to say, as an Englishman in Scotland, I've had a great welcome and I really like it. There's only once, maybe twice, that I've been slightly uneasy, and I was in a pub. And I think it was a World Cup in the 80s. Mm-hmm. Maybe it didn't help that I had a T-shirt on that said "Support England," but the match that was, I know, how stupid is that? The match that was showing was 2 teams. Can't remember who they were. Say Italy and France, and if France won, it meant England were out.
Right.
So there were everybody shouting for France. Yeah. What? Seriously, I didn't understand that.
Yeah, I would probably have been amongst that.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have understood me.
I'm now, because I've been in Scotland so long, I would support Scotland first, strangely enough, and then I'll support England. If England are playing, I'll support them. Yeah,
I think it's about broadcasting as well, Steve. I think what you don't realise is that.
Sorry, I didn't realise until I heard the commentary when I came up here.
Yeah, On a Saturday night, why don't we get the football from Scotland? Why do we get Match of the Day?
Well, all that's money reasons, isn't it?
Well, do you know more money?
And-
More money is spent on Match of the Day, one programme, than it is for the entire budget of the Scottish football.
Sounds likely.
Yep.
Yep.
And that's why we get repeats on the Sunday at 7 o'clock, and radio shows are quite cheap to do. So they put a lot of radio. Scottish football gets quite a lot of coverage. But you know what they do? They don't feature hockey. They don't feature because would you know Scottish men are the world champions at hockey?
I didn't know that.
No, you wouldn't know listening to the BBC, would you?
No.
Yeah, you have to listen to Indie Live Radio to get all that stuff.
Absolutely. Another good reason.
Aye, and do you know who won the Ballymore Cup yesterday?
I have no idea what the Ballymore Cup is.
It's a Shinty Trophy.
Oh, right.
And that was for William. They beat Glasgow Mid Argyll. So that was all good. I'll get this full story in that. Yeah, they're there. Up in the Highlands where I'm from.
Yeah, very nice.
They play a lot of shinty. The main focus of Saturday's shinty card was at Fort Williams and Ayr Park, where the home side won the Liberty British Aluminium Ballymore Cup for the second time. Well, I never. We'll get more on that. I'll teach you a bit about shinty if you want.
I'm all ears.
Good man. Who have we got? We've got Meredith. Where is she? Meredith, somebody or other. We'll put a jingle on actually. We'll put just a second. I don't know if you know. Did you listen much to the show before you came on air?
Yep. Well, not a huge amount. I listened to it, but I'm still about 3 or 4 shows.
Okay, that's fine. What we try to do, Steve, is put these jingles out. They're not jingles, they're kind of audios of people who come to Scotland and tell us how good it is. Seriously, and because it reminds locals that we are in a good country.
Sure.
And we'll put, let's see, we'll just put the basic one on. Here it goes. It's Scotland is now just Europe. Let's see if we can get this going.
This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio.
What do you think about that?
Yeah. Fully agree, basically.
I was just going to say, it's an anti-Brexit message, isn't it?
Sure.
It's you're all welcome. We need immigrants to Scotland's economy.
Yep.
And we've gone everywhere in the world, Scots people have. And when we've
contributed a lot to the world.
Well, yeah, especially Canada and places like that. There's another story we'll get to. It's about Scotland's black side. We'll come to this in a minute, Steve.
Oh, yes.
About slavery. So it's not all been good, but we have emigrated to loads of places all over the world and, done well. Thank you very much. We cannot say to people who come here, get off our land, because we've gone over to yours.
Yeah.
And you know what? It makes for a rich, colourful place, I think. I remember going to the rugby, and there was Sikhs, these Sikh guys with their turbans, and their kilts on, and I just felt, how
good is that? Yeah.
Brilliant! I just thought, brilliant, good on you guys.
Yeah, at the Glasgow AUOB march, that was excuse me. Sikhs in kilts there as well, playing drums and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Isn't it just?
Yeah.
I just get a bit.
I think it's because they've made Scotland their home.
Aye.
And they're proud of it.
Yes.
And why not?
Why not, indeed? And would you stop a Scotsman going over to America from wearing his kilt? You wouldn't, unless you were really...
My son lives in Washington, D.C., and he wears his kilt on formal occasions.
Excellent. And he wouldn't be stopped, would he?
No, not at all. Stopped by passers-by. Here, what's that you're wearing?
Aye.
Brilliant.
But because he's white, presumably, and he's Anglo-Saxon and all the rest of it, and he wouldn't be stopped if he was... My Asian friends who wear kilts, if they'd done that in America, I'd worry for them. No, I would. It's just everyone's... Because the way America's going, I mean, if you get a black guy killed, the white guy that killed him's always got some kind of mental deficiency and he should be treated carefully.
Yeah.
If a black guy kills somebody else, death row, get them on, hang them up, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, my son is married to an American. He's been over there for 9 years now, and he does not like and it is overt racism, and it's not in his way of thinking, and he doesn't understand it, and confronting it every day, which he does to a certain extent, finds it very, very puzzling. Yes,
indeed. Well, listen, we'll take some music. This is Sunny Cowgirls. Have you ever heard of them?
No.
The Sunny Cowgirls are from Australia, and this is $10 in the glove box. They sound quite American, but they're actually, listen to the accents, they're quite Australian.
Legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio.
That was Sunny Cowgirls. $10 in the glove box.
I like that one.
It's to hear the accents. You think
you
think it's going to be a Nashville drawl, but it's Melbourne gals, you know.
Yeah.
Speaking like it. $10 in the glove box. I can't do an Australian accent, I know. Moving on. This story, Steve, the British government are to be relocating police, British. They call them British police at the time, to Northern Ireland to uphold London government law and risk their lives.
Yeah, I think. Well, my first thing about that whole question about added security in Northern Ireland is why. You know, it looks like the Westminster government wants to throw Northern Ireland under the bus.
Yeah,
and There's been a number of years of peace since the Good Friday Agreement, and to do anything to risk that peace, I think, is the height of foolishness.
Absolutely. But money talks here.
Yeah, but again, it goes back to what I was saying earlier. Surely government should look after their people. And the people of Northern Ireland, and I've known one or two, had a really tough time during the Troubles. I knew one guy, I worked in a laboratory with him, and he would jump if there was a loud noise.
Yeah.
Because he was conditioned that way through years and years and years of trouble. And now that's gone. And
Aye.
Northern Ireland is, I guess, as much at peace as it possibly can be. And to risk that, risk the ordinary people of Northern Ireland going back to the Troubles, I think is absolutely ridiculous. It's horrific.
Well, Steve, there was a programme on last night. I don't know if you saw it. It was on BBC Two, and it's about a return to the Troubles. And
No, I didn't.
They were talking about the British Army's involvement, and of course, a lot of the ordinary people were saying that the British government fired first into crowds and shot people dead.
Yeah, I'm not going into the rights and wrongs of that because I have no knowledge of it.
But I'm going to move on. I'm going to try and build up this narrative. If you excuse me for a second. So the British government say no. They threw petrol bombs at us and backwards and forwards. From that melee of mess and confusion, you got a guy like Martin McGuinness, who was in the IRA, and he's speaking there. And the next piece of picture on the film shows him having dinner with the Queen.
I know.
Right. How did we get from fighting, people tit for tat, shooting at each other, and then we're getting this peace, the Good Friday Agreement, and then we're getting people at the top, Martin McGuinness, the top of the IRA, coming and showing the people that you have to talk.
Yep.
And goes to, you're undoing all that work that went on. You are. It's frightening. Yeah. It really is frightening.
Almost criminal, I would say, to be honest.
It's criminally negligent to put the backstop in there and say, oh, it'll be okay, we'll monitor this with tags on people. Are you having a laugh, Boris Johnson?
They got no idea. And now I see in the papers that they're thinking of sending the police to Northern Ireland.
That's right. And, you know, because policing's devolved to Scotland, how are they going to do this? How are they going to do this? Get Scottish police there?
That's a good question. It's one that hadn't occurred to me because I saw the headlines saying they're going to draft 300 police from Scotland to start with. I mean, apart from the stupidity of having to do that, why Scotland?
Well, I don't know. It's part of being British, I think. British police forces are deployed to any area of the UK, including Northern Ireland, which is still part of the UK, says Robbo. Mrs. E disagrees. She says our police is devolved. We've been saying we don't have any part of this new wave of Brits in Northern Ireland. But in a state of emergency, Home Office takes over. Oh, this is interesting. So there has to be a state of emergency.
So does that mean a declared state of emergency?
Well, here's the thing.
I don't know.
So I'm just looking at the website here. In a state of emergency, the Home Office takes over power. Devolution is power retained, remember. No legal way to refuse this. Civil Contingencies Act 2004. Been saying it for 5 years. We will be given nothing. What we want, we'll have to fight up. So willing to be locked up for this. So there you go. If a state of emergency is called, the devolved powers are put to the side.
I can see that being the next thing happening then, Boris Johnson calling a state of emergency.
Yeah.
And getting around devolution that way. But going back slightly, if policing's devolved, can the Scottish administration say, no, we're not going to send police officers to Northern Ireland?
No, because if it becomes a state of emergency, that means devolved laws are null and void.
Yeah, but does that mean to say, do they say it's a bit of an emergency, or do they declare a formal state of emergency?
They have to formally declare a state to the world. And I think
it would take, I would have thought, a huge event for a state of emergency to be declared, wouldn't it?
I would have thought it would take a huge state of affairs to have a go with Brexit. You know, that is worse. You could argue this both ways, but it's frightening times, isn't it, Steve? That's all we can say.
Scariest times I've known.
Indeed, me too. We said before, it's not even there's no war. We're not at war with anyone.
No, we're just going to shoot ourselves in the foot.
Well, that's right. There's no environmental catastrophe befalling us. We're not having to stockpile stuff because of global warming or a hurricane.
And here's the thing. Before the referendum, before David Cameron said, let's have a referendum on membership of the EU, was membership of the EU a hot topic? Was anybody talking about it?
Absolutely.
Was there a debate about, I don't know whether we should still be... The only reason that we're in this situation is because Tory party infighting.
Absolutely.
And that scares the hell out of me.
It does me too. And, Boris Johnson, remind ourselves, got on with not 2% of the vote.
Yeah, but that's the way that it goes, and it's happened to prime ministers before that they've been elected.
Here's a question: could he be the shortest ever reigning prime minister?
That would be lovely, wouldn't it?
Right.
Sorry, where are we coming from here?
I don't know, but I know where we're going. We're going to Crowded House. I think we're going to take some medicine ourselves. Take a bit of water. What's this now? Not the girl you think you are.
This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio.
Yes, welcome back to Indie Live Radio. Me, Norrie Hunter, and Steve Baird today joining us. Hope you're enjoying yourself today, Steve.
Actually, I was just thinking that I'm enjoying this a lot more than I thought I would do, because I'm not really a great political person, but I found
fooled me.
but what? No, getting some of these things off my chest has done me an awful lot of good. It's been like a kind of therapy, I think.
Fantastic. Good, so we'll get you on more and more. That's what we need. We need more enthusiastic people. Remember I was talking about Shinty?
You were, yes.
Yeah,
it went over my head.
This is funny because the two big teams in Scottish Shinty over the years have been King UC and Newton Moore from Speyside. Very good teams, always attract the best players. Fort William latterly done really well. But in the last 4 years, you've got teams like Kilmally, which is up in Fort William, north of Fort William. You've got Lochcarron, you've got Mid Argyll, Oban Camnacht, all really good teams coming through trying to win trophies, where it used to be a kind of Celtic Rangers, King UC.
Right. Yep.
So we're seeing this Glasgow Mid Argyll, not a hotbed of Shinty players. You tend to find them more up north, where it's
where they have hair on the palms of their hands.
Well, and it's taught at schools, and that kind of thing.
Sorry, that was a bit racist, wasn't it?
It was, but I tried to swim over that.
Yeah, quite right.
The next thing is if you get on the wrong side of a shinty player, these Camins, they're called Camins.
All right, I'm getting an education here.
Yeah, and it's got, the Caminacht is it's a game of Caminacht.
Right.
And there's an association, and whiskey and Caminacht go together like salt and vinegar. It's just one of those things. And to go to I tell you, Steve, if you haven't done it yet, bucket list. If you can get to a Caminacht Cup final, do it.
Okay.
Do it and pick one side. It doesn't matter. Just go for one side.
Wouldn't mean any difference to me.
It would when you're in the stands, because then you back that side, and what you'll find at the end of a bill of rugby, all the fans come together. It doesn't matter.
Right.
You say what a brilliant game that was, and people say, "What, you didn't hear from England watching this?" And you go, "Well,
rather than separating the fans as they leave the stadium."
And then if you like whiskey,
sorry, I don't.
Oh well, you. After the final whistle, just you go home, mate, because there's nothing left for you.
Sounds reasonable.
No. Just get the banter with the people. It's really good, and you'll find out they're all young people, of course, playing shinty. Most of them are. There's a few 40-year-olds in there as well, but most of them have got a really good outlook in life. It's one of my favourite things. Getting up to a Caminacht Cup final, whatever it may be.
I will put it on my bucket list.
Aye, and if I'm going, I'll get in touch with you and I'll take you.
Okay.
I'll take you along. First aid kit.
Yes.
Now,
Swedish band.
Aye, right.
Yeah.
Where did you hear of them?
You know how sometimes if you're browsing through YouTube, you fall down a hole and follow videos and videos. And I came across one by First Aid Kit and I thought, that's good.
Yeah.
And got one of their albums from my iPod. It's good.
It was on another radio station, which
no, it's okay. You're allowed to say that.
Remain nameless.
They do exist.
I know, but I won't name them. They played this track. It was Whispering Bob, Harris. And he played this, and I thought these girls are brilliant. These harmonies are fantastic. So I went. I had iTunes for my Christmas. And I put the lot on the First Aid Kit. I got all the music, then I put it onto this, which we're allowed to do because we've got a license to do that.
Sure.
Don't do this at home if you haven't got a license to do it. We have. And this is Sailor Song from First Aid Kit. See what you think.
This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio.
Welcome back. That was, who was that? That was First Aid Kit. And Steve, as he's gone, he's left us. He's going to come back in a minute, I think, once he gets his cans on. Kev's just been given...
No, I'm here. My legs were just seizing up. I had to go for a walk.
And all that. Bladder trouble. Kev was just giving us some details. Quite a few people are tuning in, Kev.
Yeah, absolutely. On the live, as I said before, right, certain shows, if I'm here, will live stream them out, radio shows.
Yeah.
So, you know, that it doesn't register in my radio.
No.
There's viewers there. But it's going out to, as I said, we are 45% and, of course, Independence Live, which doubles up as Indie Live Radio's Facebook page as well at the moment.
That's right. So how many people roughly today?
I don't know. I've been too busy trying to sort out stuff.
We'll get figures from you after that, once we get a total. It doesn't matter, does it? It's thousands and thousands. Yeah. So that's good. But we must carry on with the show. It's 12 minutes past 1, if you're wondering. It's Monday, 26th of August, 2019. Where were we? Yep. You said somebody said Ruth Davidson is the Walloper of the Week contender for most weeks.
I think that will be fair enough, really.
She has been beaten, pipped at the post by Joe Swinson, James Kelly.
Actually, when you think about it, there are quite a number of contenders in Scottish politics, aren't there?
There is, but it's just because she's a high-profile one. She comes out with stuff like that.
Yeah. Do you think she's on her way out?
I do. I really do. Do you know this? When you go against Boris Johnson head-to-head,
yes,
as she did on the Remain vote, and pointed a finger at him and called him a loser and all the rest of it.
And their operation, which word we can't mention on the radio, to stop Boris Johnson becoming Prime Minister.
Yeah,
that worked.
Was
well,
that the ARSE? That one?
Yeah, that word. Yes, the one that we can't spell on the radio.
Aye. Well, yes, indeed. But that one, so crass they are, and naming it that. Anyway, but. Now she was vociferous in her campaign for David Mundell to remain as the Scottish Secretary of State.
How well did that work out?
Didn't work.
Yeah.
She's been sidelined. The media darling of the union side has now become Joe Swinson.
Yes.
They're giving her a hell of a lot of airtime, and they're giving her an easy time on what she's saying. Some of her arguments are just pathetic, but she's getting away with it.
Yeah, in general, I do feel that politicians don't get a hard enough time. Did you see, I think it was, Margaret Hodge from Channel 4 doing a lecture at the Edinburgh Television Festival recently?
Oh, the Fringe meeting, yeah.
Yeah, and she said, we've got a known liar as a Prime Minister, and it should be up to journalists to be able to use that word, liar, not skate around the truth or anything like that. And I think she's right. Journalists will be afraid to use that word in front of a politician.
Well, the thing is, Steve, here's the thing, and we've done this, myself and Kev actually done this show long time ago. It might have been in the broom cupboard, might not have been. We looked at who owns the newspaper, who owns the media,
right?
And you know who owns government, and it's frightening because you think the big committees, the finance committee, you've got people who are in the bank, NSBC, the big banks, now in these committees. Now, that's you bringing industry into politics. Who do they think interests are they going to look after? Their own or the person on the street?
Yeah, well, exactly.
Now, this is no coincidence. And what we've got is you've got international companies running governments.
Yeah, I don't
You've got international companies who own media outlets.
What are they?
And stations. And like Channel 5, I can't remember the guy's name. We've got it written down in our notes somewhere. He was a big donator to the Tory party. He put on shows on Channel 5 called, what was it called? Benefits Britain.
Oh, right.
and Benefit Scrounger and all that kind of stuff.
Yes,
And then we're getting other things like, well, the BBC had it first, the Great British Bake Off, and putting down this British line of benefits, making it sound as if there's a them and an us. There's a British and Brilliant, and there's the rest of Scroungers and all the rest of them.
Yeah, that's it's a legacy of empire, that, surely.
Yeah, but who decides on these programmes?
Yeah, I think you're verging into conspiracy theory here, Norrie, quite honestly. I don't know is the answer to that. I have my suspicions, but then I think, no, I'm just being paranoid. I don't know the answer.
I'm going to prove you wrong. It's not conspiracy theory. I'll get my notes from that programme. We'll maybe revisit that again, myself and Kev, because we've done that ages ago. Who owns the British press and who owns the media? And we'll get an up-to-date synopsis for you, just to make sure that people know that when they're watching a TV show, it's been influenced by somebody really far up with probably a lot of money and a lot of clout, and probably a Brexiteer as well. But we'll do another wee show, maybe half hour show sometime in the future, about who owns the media. All right. Now, remember that jingle that's you said is that Gary Marshall?
Yes.
I think it was. He'd done a bit. Now, everybody knows it's Tears for Fears.
Yes.
Do you know, we've never played that track in its full. We haven't. So guess what we're going to do next?
Play Tears for Fears?
We might do, if it comes up.
Well done.
Well, this is it. Tears for Fears. Everybody wants to rule the world, not run the world.
This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio.
Love that, love that, love that. Tears for Fears, Everybody Wants to Rule the World. A classic, a classic. Good to play, and it's fulsome there, Steve. We'd only play that for the wee advert, the wee jingle.
Yeah, you give people a little taster for it and then give them the real
whack
thing.
It on.
Yeah.
Whack it on. Right, what else is happening? Just a message came up, as we stop speaking, we stop going out, the music doesn't go out onto Facebook, but we get these, Kev puts these visuals on. And
They're very good.
I was reading one, and it said 2014, Save Our Shipyards.
That was one of the big planks, one of the many lies they told. But it was sadly another scare story, which has now since been absolutely blown out the water.
Absolutely.
It's interesting because a lot of the scare stories they used have now been shown up to be either lies, mendacious, or just plain wrong. What are they going to do next time? Mm-hmm. What lies are they going to come up with next time?
Well,
they're bound to think of something.
Well, I don't think it'll be lies. I don't think they can go back there. But I think what they might come back on is like the hard border. You're going to have a checkpoint, Charlie. Well, we will, because if you've got Brexit and we don't, it's bound to be something's going to be. We're trying not to get that, but that's what they'll frighten people with.
Yeah, but I could live with that.
Yeah, well, we could as well. Mm-hmm. But then a lot of people trade over the border, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And then we'll have to look at how Ireland pans out as well.
Sure.
It might be, Steve, that Ireland becomes all Ireland. They might just had enough.
Well, there have been several commentators saying that Brexit is the end of the UK, and I think there's a distinct possibility that might happen. Scotland, hopefully, will go its own way. Ireland gets reunited. That leaves poor old England, and if Wales goes on the way they're doing, they'll get their independence, and that'll leave England all on their own.
Wales are they're giving examples how Malta, back in 1964,
yes.
It's a tiny, tiny country that had held the European presidency for a year, I think, to get it. Mm-hmm. That tiny, tiny, tiny country. And Wales has got much more going for it than that. So they're using all kinds of things down there to get their independence vote going. And it looks like if Scotland goes, Wales will go.
Yeah, I don't know quite. My history isn't as good on Wales to know their claim to be a nation of its own. One thing, I'm going to sidetrack slightly. Coming up to Scotland, coming to live in Scotland, I was amazed at how different it was. And
in terms of people, scenery, what do you mean?
Sorry, in the fact, I shouldn't say how different it was, it was identifiably a country in its own right.
All right.
Now, English people don't think about that. And I say that, and I know that because I was one of them. And I didn't give Scotland any single thought. Mm-hmm. Was it one Tory MP said, I wouldn't give Scotland any more powers than I would give Lincolnshire County Council. And that's the way the English look at Scotland. And I know because I was one of them. Mm-hmm. It's only when you come up that you realise there's a distinct identity and a sense of country in Scotland. And it's not just another region tacked onto the end of England.
Well, that's a very good point. We had we were discussing this not that long ago about a DJ, a broadcaster, who shall remain nameless, but he's a Scotsman working on radio. And he said, and he's working down there in London, right? And he said there was somebody in Littlehampton, which has got a population of 4,000 or something. It's got a church and it's got some shops and it's got a common green. And Mrs. Jones and her husband are going to from Littlehampton, are going to Scotland for a holiday. And I just get really annoyed. And this guy knows better because he comes from Scotland. Why did you just say Scotland? It's got 5 million people, mate. Would it be absolutely beyond you to say whereabouts in Scotland they're going? And this is what happens to the English people, Steve. Probably happened to you.
No,
you just get consumed with that.
It's just a blob on the end of England.
It's a town somewhere. It's a town.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not a country. It's got nothing. Oh, they come out to play when there's a football match on.
Yeah.
And then they go away again, never hear them. Oh, and the Labour Party reckon they send us their MPs to help them get government.
Yeah, and there's a misapprehension about Scotland. No, it's not misapprehension. It's ignorance, quite honestly, about Scotland, which is fine because they don't need to know. I was working for an English company with a branch in Scotland, in Glasgow, and we had a delivery due to Aberdeen. Oh, can't you just run it across? Mm-hmm. What do you mean run it across? It's 2.5 hours away. Oh, is it?
There's another story. This guy, Steve, I promise you, he was swimming from Land's End to John O'Groats. And he got to, he passed Isle of Man and he's swimming up and he's going, you've still got X amount of miles to go. He goes, I didn't realise Scotland was that big.
Right, yeah.
And he was like swimming. And he says, I'm knackered. He got all the way around. He says, the way the TV slants Scotland on the weather map.
Yes.
He was looking at that and
I'm thinking, yeah.
No, mate, we've got more water surrounding us than you think. Poor fella, not just through ignorance and And he says it nearly broke him having swum around Scotland.
Right, and it is ignorance. It's not malice.
No. It's what gets drummed into you all the time.
Yeah,
and I'll tell you a wee story. But when I was at school, we learnt more about somebody baking cakes in a king of England, burning his cakes, and the Norman conquest. Mm-hmm. I wanted to hear about the Highland clearances on my back door.
Yeah,
I wanted to hear about the people who stayed where I'm staying in, hundreds of years ago. Mm-hmm. What happened to those clans? What happened to the church? Why did the Church of Scotland become so overpowered? It took over the Reformation. I learnt that all after school.
Yeah.
The good news is, my 11-year-old daughter gets everything from me, but she's a lucky one, and she really appreciates. And when she goes,
what do they still teach the English history?
No, they don't. Oh no. And when the Scottish government brought in this new Scotland module to be taught, the Liberal Democrats especially were saying you're just trying to hoodwink the kids, trying to
brainwash them into being Scottish nationalists.
Aye.
Yeah.
It was all that pathetic stuff. Right, I'm going to go just to the chat line, Steve. Many companies, says Ronnie, are bigger than governments. Just what we're trying to say, Ronnie, absolutely.
Yep.
Live mic somewhere, lads? I'm not sure. Kev, is your mic off? I think it is.
Yeah.
It's off. You're on.
Yes, indeed.
I'm on. A hard border between England and Scotland is far less problematic than a hard border in Ireland.
I think one of the reasons for that is there's only, a dozen crossings in Scotland, as against hundreds and hundreds between Northern Ireland and the Republic.
But here's the thing, Steve. It still won't make them avoid that as a topic to scare people.
Oh, absolutely not.
Great show, guys. This is JJ. Good to hear from JJ. John, great show, guys. Watching live from the video stream. Sound is great, by the way.
That's nice to know.
Nice one. Ronnie says agreed in the sound. Both Norrie and his guest are sounding so passionate. Thanks, JJ.
Yeah.
I think we get angry, JJ. I think we just get really annoyed at what we have to read out sometimes. And then
there's lots of things to get angry about, quite honestly. And somebody said anger is the best default situation, really.
No. Well, he did say passionate. It was me that said
passionate.
Angry.
Okay, passionate.
Ronnie says, I learned nothing about history in school. Me neither, Ronnie. Not about Scottish history, at least. And JJ says, I learned more about Scots history listening to the Corries. I am serious than I did at school. Well, that's interesting, because folk music is about stories and conveys stories all the way down. So I quite believe that. The things that the Hawes of Cromdale, that's a song. Killiecrankie.
Oh yes, I remember that one.
Steve's looking at blank.
No. I've been to Killiecrankie.
Did you?
Yeah. And I've played the Braes of Killiecrankie on the wireless more than once.
The Braes of Killiecrankie. Yeah. All kinds of songs that are North Sea Holes. In fact, you know what I'll do? Get some Ewan McCall song. Boreas. See if you like this. North Sea Holes. Just because JJ mentioned it. This is a song about fishing.
Okay.
But no, it's a cover. It's a cover of this song. But I promise you, Steve, you'll never hear a sweeter voice than this girl singing it. It's absolutely great, and they're a band from Scottish heritage and Norwegian heritage.
All right, that's a strange mix.
Yeah, but is it really? When you hear the two of them together, you think that is just beautiful. I'm going to treat you all. This is Boreas. This is North Sea Holes.
This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio.
Hauntingly beautiful.
That was really nice.
Hauntingly beautiful.
Who was it?
Boreas.
Boreas. How do you spell that one?
Boreas.
Okay.
And the thing, what we were noticing, especially Celtic Connections over the last, 5-6 years at least, the amount of talented new singers that are not afraid to sing in their own tongue. So this girl's from Dumfries. I can't remember her name, but what a singer.
Very good.
And you've got the Gaelic singers, you've got all kinds of people singing different stuff, not afraid. And I don't know why this is, maybe it's the schools, maybe it's a conservatoire in Glasgow, but they're all singing in their own tongue. It's beautiful to hear. And you don't have to put on an American accent to sing a song that Lulu had to do and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, right.
Right, there's a lot of stuff coming about, what did we mention? JJ's going on about the Bayeux Tapestry.
And
it's a history lesson about an old carpet. With too many vowels.
Yeah.
Oh,
What the
JJ.
record was playing, Norrie Hunter was doing and said, "What do you know about the Bayeux Tapestry?" A blank look crossed my face. Sorry about that.
History lesson on old carpet, brilliant.
Yeah.
Paul C says they can't even get that right. It's a tapestry. It's not a tapestry. It's an embroidery, Do you know this? I think the Bayeux Tapestry was more about Viking history than anything else. I think it's their history written down in the tapestry.
I feel a Wikipedia coming on here.
Well, anyway, JJ, keep on coming back with these fantastic messages. An old carpet. Go play a bit of music because I'm just laughing too much. Here's Casey Musgraves, Oh What a World.
This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music.
Casey Musgraves, So What a World. Now, if you're looking in the live stream, can you see what I'm holding up here? That's what Jilly took in for us. Now, remember what we were talking about, Steve, earlier on? About
Yes.
we're talking about Union flags all over our food, all over.
Yep.
Why has it happened in the last 2 years? Oh, look at this.
What is that?
It's luxury Scottish shortbread, actually. There you go. I'll just see if I can get that up. There you go.
How apt.
There you go. Oh, going the wrong way. That is what's happening to Scotland. That's what they're trying to do, these establishment figures.
But
they're doing it with haggis, they're doing it with whiskey, every iconic thing that Scotland's ever produced, they're trying to...
Stick a Union flag on it.
Stick a Union flag on it. So we'll tear into the shortbread in a minute with the coffee, and we'll throw the tin away. Now, JJ sent us a message from Twitter. He says, a business town has put up 4 flags. English flag was down very quick. So I take it's the 4 flags of the Union he's talking about, or 4 of Britain. English flag was down very quick. Irish flag went next, suspect the wind. Welsh and Scottish flags battled it out for a while. Today the Welsh pole has snapped, it's upside down. I don't know what this means, but the Scotland flag, well done.
Yay, the victor. Well done, Scotland.
It must have been made of, I don't know, tweed, that flag, something like that.
That would work.
Yeah. So, I mean, this. Do you notice? Do you go down to England much to visit family or in-laws?
Not so much now. Maybe about twice a year to visit my brother in Exeter.
Do you ever see this in the shops? And is it British down there as well?
I don't go in the shops.
Oh no, but
sorry.
So you don't know? There's not a big campaign to get things
No, I haven't noticed
Anglified?
it. Yeah.
Is it just Scotland? We're getting a wee bit.
I think we're a bit touchy about it, and I think we have good reason to be touchy about it, to be honest.
But
particularly because that's on a tin of Scottish produce.
Aye. What's it all about? Is it to Brexitise us? Is it to unify us? Is it to annoy us?
No, it's a very good question, and it's almost where we're getting back into conspiracy theories, because it's a company who makes that shortbread.
Yeah.
So nobody's going to tell them, well, I don't think, what to put on their tin.
No.
Am I right, or is it a conspiracy theory that there's a government directive coming down saying you must put Union flags on your tin of shortbread?
Here's a message going out to Stuart's Scottish Shortbread. If you're listening to this show and you're in Perth, Kilda Road in Perth, we've just got a tin of your shortbread. Was that a company policy to put a British bulldog wearing a Union flag bowler hat with a flag at its paw, and it's called the London Collection? Was that your decision? And if so, are you that afraid or that ashamed to put a Scottish flag on it that you went back the way?
I think, I don't know, I mean, it could be a marketing exercise, because if they're selling that, for instance, in tourist shops in London, then a Union flag would work well. If they're selling it in tourist shops in Edinburgh with that packaging, I think that's a mistake.
I think on both occasions that's a mistake, because this is iconic Scottish shortbread made in Scotland.
Yeah, but I'm thinking commercial decisions here.
Yeah, but I'm thinking political decisions here.
Well, they'll always look for their bottom line first.
Well, I think this has come all the way back to Scotland, and this is Stuart's Scottish shortbread. There you go. It's burning my hand, this wee Doug. So, what's happening to our shortbread? Make your own. Never mind this bought shortbread from these companies that support the union. And if you have to put a union flag on anything, tell us why you think that's necessary. Why couldn't you sell a Scottish produce in London? I've bought German sausage in London. It was I'd have German flag on it. It didn't have a London flag on it. The guy was in a stall. He says, "Yeah, this is German Wurst, the sausage." He didn't put a union flag on it, or to make it more palatable for people. Yeah. Rubbish. If it's Scottish, it's Scottish. End of. Well, that's my view.
The steam coming out of his ears again.
We'll have to listen.
You could power several kettles today.
Yeah, I know. This is what you do to me, Steve. You're not getting let loose again.
Fault, is it? Fair enough.
It is. Now back to the Bayo tapestry.
Yeah. Me, I said it's got. I said it had nothing to do with Vikings, and Norrie put me right on that.
Only because I studied in the first year at university. I studied Viking history, and we done the clue comes in Norman. The Normans were the men from the north. That was the Vikings. That was the name they were given.
Oh right.
The men of the north, and when they came down, they attacked France and they attacked. In fact, England was part of what's called the Danelaw. There was 5 counties of England. Anglia, Kent, Mercia, Wessex was a country, a part of the country, and they were all divided into these kingdoms called what did he call it? The Danefield or whatever it was, and they were all run by Vikings.
Okay.
And this is and the angle, the word angle, do you know where that comes from? That's
I don't.
That comes from the Danes as well.
All right.
So you've got the angles coming through. And I'm not going to go into a big history of this.
I don't know. Well, I'm getting an education here.
Yeah. You can. Who's my Dr. Ronaldson? It was my professor when I was doing all this stuff, and he would tell me in no uncertain terms that there was a difference between a Danish Viking and a Norwegian Viking.
I didn't even know there were two different types of Viking.
Yeah, there was with different attitudes.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Right, what have we got? It's 1346. We've got a message in. Did you know that Scotland is a region of London? I mean, Scotland Yard, us in London. Well, I guess that's Paul. Xdick says the UK manufacturers have been told to get the UK ready for the American market, so they're covering everything in Union flags because that's what the majority of Yanks recognise.
That's interesting.
That's a very good point, actually.
Yeah.
It's for American market.
Who said that one?
Xsticks.
All right.
Wessex was Anglo-Saxon, which North German, not Danish. Right.
I'm not going there.
The gloves are off. I'll take you to court on this. This is all wrong. And by the way, I've got the microphone.
He's got the power.
I got the power. Right. Garbage. Only happy when it rains, I think. Let's hear about this.
This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio.
garbage only when it rains. Well, when it rains, not on a day like this. Lovely day outside. Sun's, I think
a rare one, though.
I know.
Come on.
I know. Well, yesterday was a rare one too.
Yeah.
Right, we've got 10 minutes to go. Steve, really enjoyed having you on the show today.
Thank you.
Well done. Now, do you want a bit of shortbread?
I don't like shortbread.
Do you know that?
No, sorry. I don't know. Don't like shortbread, don't like whiskey.
What do you like? Chocolate biscuits?
Oh, yes.
What if you? We there's a guy called Cactus comes on, and we're coming to a bit, and we're talking about soups, and he says, "On my way home, to make some soup, Norrie." I says, "What
right.
soup?" I says, "What soup are you making?" He says, "Spicy lentil." And I says, "I'm having my favourite's creamy leeking potato."
All right.
Oh, I says, "So
We're doing a top 10 soups here.
aye, so you must like there must be a Scottish soup, chicken broth or something."
French onion. Sorry.
He will not be out getting us back, ladies and gentlemen. That's the last we've heard of this man.
I'll get my coat.
It's a sugary peg, as we say in Scotland. Okay, well, I don't know about this. Paul, let's beg to differ on this one. It's not our history. Let's talk about Scottish history and who it belongs to. Let's put this to bed. We're both right. How's that? Right. French onion soup. Stop me in the tracks there. Right, when you come, you're thinking of maybe doing a show.
Yes, I was going to say if you'll have me, I don't want to be presumptuous at all here.
Right, once we get you set up, we can get you flying solo.
Yeah, and I'm a music fan,
Right,
and it's going to be mostly music led. So we're going to be concentrating on music, but there'll be little rants in between. If you listen to the program and hear what I've been saying, I'll be saying the same sort of things when I'm doing the program. But as I said, mostly music-led, mostly classic rock, but we'll go down a few side roads as well, which might be interesting. Do you know, have you got a pal who plays you music? Yeah, I had a very good pal. We used to get together, and he used to introduce me to music. And he'd get his iPod and play me tracks, and then I'd get my iPod out and play him tracks. And that's what I like to do on the radio, be a pal that plays you music. And
maybe some forgotten tracks that people have not heard.
I was going to say, there'll be some that you know and love, obviously. There'll be some that you say, oh, I haven't heard that for ages. And hopefully there'll be someone who say, oh, I haven't heard that before. That's good. So we'll see how it goes. But that's the idea anyway.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I played Dead Kennedys in this show, and we lost half our listeners.
Got to be careful.
Got to be careful what you put on. And then we put on Kev's favourite. He wanted Sisters of Mercy, goth classics. You know.
All
and,
right.
Blimey, lost the other half of the audience. Never mind. We got them all back because we played Blue Oyster Cult, Don't Fear the Reaper.
Oh, good one.
Yes, got them all back from that one. But what we don't play is there's bands I will not play in this show. Bananarama. I will not play them.
I think there's...
Sorry, but I will not.
No, that's okay. I'm not a huge fan either, but people like Bananarama, that's fine. They can go and listen to a station that plays Bananarama.
Just don't like them. Here's somebody. This is Mackenzie Porter. Probably haven't heard of her.
Nope.
This is talking about people who give you music to listen to. I searched the Nashville Top 100. It's a Billboard thing for just country music. And this girl, Mackenzie Porter, she used to be an actress. I think she still is. Started singing songs. And this one is If It Ain't Broke by Mackenzie Porter.
Okay.
Have a listen to this. And then we'll be saying our Cheerios at the end. She'll be there in a minute. Just a bit of drums and then we'll get going. Bit of guitar.
This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio. This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music.
Steve,
Yes.
tune in to speak before I get this shortbread in my bread.
Yeah, I'll just like say this. It's the first time I've been here on Indie Live Radio, and well, Norrie said to me, "Hey, do you want to come on the show?" Oh, I don't know about that. So I didn't really want to speak about stuff I don't know about.
Right.
But I tell you, I've enjoyed these last 3 hours enormously, and it's been a great rant, and it's been like a therapy for me. I feel a lot better for it. Thank you.
Well, do you want some more good news?
Yes.
JJ is saying, Norrie, I have no doubt your guest is going to produce a great show going by his OCD as he ensures everything is lined up on the table. He's going to be...
Oh, I knew there was a problem with the webcams.
He says, Steve is going to be great on Indie Live Radio. When is he going to do his show?
Well, as I said, if it's all right with you, 7 to 9 on a Friday night sounds like a good time. And I promise not to say the weekend starts here. And
all cliches are available.
No, we don't do cliches. And that would be ideal for me. It means I can get my dinner at the normal time and be in bed for 10 o'clock. So yeah, that would suit me if that's all right with you, sir.
That is all right with us, my friend.
Good.
That is all right. It's good. Now, listen, we've only got a couple of minutes to go. Pritchard Trench, great show again. Thanks very much. Keep it up, he says. It's all down to Steve. Just been fantastic guests. We had, of course, Jason Baird, the National Yes Register. He's got a web page, if you can get to it, nationalyesregister.scot. They're looking for a crowdfund to get people to build up on the app. That app will connect every Yes hub and every group together, and that is really crucial in the run-up to independence referendum. We have to be singing off the same hymn sheet. Hopefully we'll get Jason back in on Friday to see how things have progressed over the week, because I think his crowdfunder has got not long to go. So we'll find out, Kev. That's you on, mate. We'll get him on Friday.
We'll give him a little shout on Friday to get an update from him, to find out, what's the latest about his event in Perth, and also how his crowdfunder's doing. But yeah, we definitely want to be supporting his crowdfunder, that's for sure.
There you go. Right. It's goodbye from me, Norrie.
And goodbye from me till the next time.
God bless you all. Bye for now.
This is IndieLive.radio. Unfortunately, we cannot legally live stream music. Tune in to IndieLive.radio for audio.